Hello everyone, welcome. We're having this video instead of class, so we can get started. This Thursday is Thanksgiving, so during this video, we are going to talk about Thanksgiving, what you know about Thanksgiving already, some Thanksgiving vocabulary words, and then we will read the history of the first Thanksgiving. These are all things your children will learn in school at some point, and that you will see the longer you live in the United States, you'll have more Thanksgivings. So Thanksgiving comes once a year, and it is this Thursday. So first, I want you to pause, stop the video for a minute, and think, what do I know about Thanksgiving? When you hear the word Thanksgiving, what do you think of? Maybe you know it's a holiday, but do you know what people do on Thanksgiving? Or the history? How did Thanksgiving start? Think for a few seconds, but we will talk about all of these things today in this video. So we can get started with some Thanksgiving vocabulary. Most of the words are about food, but food is very important for Thanksgiving. So you'll see. Let's start with the Thanksgiving vocabulary. I'm going to say the word, and I want you to repeat after me. I'll take a short pause. I will stop for a few seconds so you can repeat the words. So first we have Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a holiday. Fall. Fall. Fall is a season. Some people say autumn. I say fall. Fall. Leaves. Leaves. In the fall, the leaves turn red, brown, yellow. Leaves. Acorn. Acorn. An acorn will grow into a tree. Acorn. Apples. Apples. Apples are healthy for you. Apples. Family. Family. You spend Thanksgiving with your family. Family. Friends. Friends. Some people spend Thanksgiving with their friends, or they have a Friendsgiving before Thanksgiving. Friends. Thanksgiving dinner. Thanksgiving dinner. I eat a lot at Thanksgiving dinner. Football. Football. On Thanksgiving, we watch football. Football. Thanksgiving parade. Thanksgiving parade. Macy's has a famous Thanksgiving parade. Race or run. Race, run. On Thanksgiving, some people join a race in the morning. A race is a contest where there are winners and losers. Some people just go for a run. A run is for fun. This picture is a race because they have numbers, so it is a contest. This is a Thanksgiving race. Nap. Nap. After we eat a lot of food, we nap. Nap. Many people take naps after dinner on Thanksgiving. Nap. Pilgrims. Pilgrims. The Pilgrims had the first Thanksgiving. Pilgrims. The Mayflower. The Mayflower. The Mayflower was the ship of the Pilgrims. It was the boat of the Pilgrims. The Mayflower. Native American or native person. Native Americans lived in the United States for thousands of years before the Europeans arrived. Native American. Corn. Corn. Corn grows in the United States. Corn is from the Americas. Corn. Candy corn. Candy corn. Children eat candy corn in October and November. Candy corn. Baking. Baking. Many families do a lot of baking for Thanksgiving. They make cakes or pies or bread. Baking. Cooking. Cooking. We are cooking a lot on Thanksgiving. Cooking. Recipe. Recipe. A recipe tells you how to make food. Recipe. Apple pie. Apple pie. Apple pie is a common dessert in the fall. Apple pie. Pumpkin. Pumpkin. We grow pumpkins around Halloween. Pumpkins. Pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie is eaten at Thanksgiving. Pumpkin pie. Turkey. Turkey. This is an animal called a turkey. Turkey is also what you eat. So turkey is the animal that is alive, and it is also the meat that you eat. Turkey. Ham. Ham. Ham is the meat of a pig. So ham is what pig meat is called. It has a different name. Ham. Also, sometimes you will hear pork. That is also from a pig, but this is a ham. Stuffing. Stuffing. Stuffing is made from bread. Stuffing. Green beans. Green beans. Green beans are popular at Thanksgiving. Green beans. Mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes. I like my mashed potatoes with butter. Mashed potatoes. Gravy. Gravy. People put gravy on their mashed potatoes or turkey. Gravy. Cranberries. Cranberries. Cranberries grow in a bog. A bog is where cranberries grow. They grow on the ground, and then the water comes and the cranberries go up. They float. Cranberries. Cranberry sauce. Cranberry sauce. This cranberry sauce has orange. Cranberry sauce. Cornbread. Cornbread. Cornbread is delicious, and it has corn flour, cornmeal. Cornbread. Rolls. Rolls. A roll is just a little piece of bread for one person. It's special bread for one person. Rolls. Sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes. I like my sweet potatoes with butter. Sweet potatoes. Yam casserole. Yam casserole. People eat yam casserole at Thanksgiving. It has marshmallows on top and you make it in the oven. Yam casserole. Dessert. Dessert. You want to have dessert on Thanksgiving, whether it's pie, yam casserole, dessert. All right, that is the end of our vocabulary section, so we will move on in 1 second. Okay, so now that we have learned some vocabulary words, let's talk about the history of Thanksgiving. I am going to read, you listen, and look for the words in italics. Italics are like this. Those are vocabulary words that we already learned. So look for the italics. We will start with the journey. In the early 1600s, a group of people called pilgrims came to what later became the United States. This was over 100 years before the United States was a country. The Pilgrims came from England. They came across the Atlantic Ocean on a ship called the MAYFLOWER in the year 1620. There were 102 pilgrims on the ship. They wanted to start a new life. In England, they were not free to worship their own religion. They wanted religious freedom. Arriving in the Americas. Their ship arrived in the New World, what is now called Massachusetts, in winter of 1620. The journey took 2 months and was hard. The Pilgrims spent their first winter living on the ship. They did not have much food. It was cold, and people were sick. By spring, only 53 of the Pilgrims were still alive. They left the ship and began their new lives. So out of 102 that left, only 56 made it until springtime. There are 53. So half of the people died before spring. It was a hard journey. Help from the Wampanoags. I might be saying this wrong. I should have checked first. The Pilgrims were not the only people living there. There were many groups of Native Americans living in the area and all over the continent. The group of Native Americans in this area were called the Wampanoags. Luckily for the Pilgrims, someone spoke English. The Wampanoags taught the Pilgrims how to hunt animals for food, how to collect shellfish like mussels, crabs, clams, and how to grow corn. The Native Americans saved the Pilgrims from death. They were hungry and they taught them how to get food, so they saved their lives. The first Thanksgiving dinner. After their first successful year, the first year that went well for them, the Pilgrims had food to eat. They celebrated by having a feast, a big dinner. We do not know if the Pilgrims invited the Native Americans to dinner. Many people believe that they did. Some people say they did not. But this is where the tradition of Thanksgiving comes from. Thanksgiving today. Thanksgiving is on the 4th Thursday in November. This means that the date changes every year. Americans have a large Thanksgiving dinner with their families. Some people eat with their friends, but it is more common to be with your family. We eat turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, stuffing, and pies. Some people eat different things, but these are the most common foods. Some people join races or go for runs in the morning before they eat. Some families play football together or watch it on TV. Some people watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. A lot of people take naps after they eat. It is a day to spend time with the people you love and eat a lot of food. Many people give thanks for the good things they have in their lives. So that is all about the history of Thanksgiving, how it started, where it comes from, and what we do now. Many people say that the Pilgrims invited the Native Americans to dinner to say thank you. That's why it's Thanksgiving, to say thank you. But we do not know if this is true or false. So the Pilgrims had a dinner, but we do not know if the Native Americans were there or not. But many people say yes, and that's what most people think. All right, let's move on to an activity to see how well you remember the history of Thanksgiving. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sentences. I want you to pause the video and write them in order in which they happened. So, what is the first thing that happened in this list? We have the Pilgrims are persecuted for their religion in England. The Pilgrims land in the New World. The Pilgrims sail across the Atlantic Ocean. The Pilgrims leave England. The Pilgrims have the first Thanksgiving. The Pilgrims have their first successful harvest. The Pilgrims spend the winter on the Mayflower. Many people die. The Pilgrims learn how to grow corn and hunt from the Native Americans. So which one comes first? Think for a second. So the first thing is that the Pilgrims are persecuted for their religion in England. This was the first thing to happen. This is why the Pilgrims left. So that goes first. What goes second? I'll give you a second to look. What comes next? The Pilgrims leave England. They decide that they are leaving so that they can pursue a new life. So the Pilgrims leave England. What comes next? The Pilgrims sail across the Atlantic Ocean. They're in their boat, the Mayflower. So first, the Pilgrims decide to leave to seek religious freedom. Then they leave and they sail across the Atlantic Ocean. What happens next? The Pilgrims land. They find the Americas. They see land, and their journey across the ocean is finished. What comes next? The Pilgrims spend their first winter on the ship, the Mayflower. It was hard, there was not food, and many people died. So they spend their first winter on the ship, the Mayflower. They're just in the bay, so they can see the land, but they did not have houses or anything, and it was winter, so they slept in the ship, and it was very hard. What comes next? The Pilgrims learn to grow corn and hunt from the Native Americans. The Native Americans saw that the Pilgrims were not doing well. They were hungry, they were sick. The Native Americans saw this and decided to help them. What comes next? the Pilgrims have their first successful harvest. They grow corn and they have food and they can hunt animals because the Native Americans taught them that. So they finally have food. And then what comes last? The Pilgrims have the first Thanksgiving. They have the Thanksgiving to celebrate that they are alive, that they have food, and that their new life is beginning. Some people say it was to say thank you to the Native Americans, but we don't know for sure. But they were definitely thankful for the food and for their new lives. All right, that's all for the history of Thanksgiving. Now I want to show you a quick Thanksgiving craft you can do at home with your children. This will only take 5 or 10 minutes, and it's a lot of fun for kids. So the first thing you need is to get paper and a pencil, a crayon, a marker, and you trace your hand with the pencil, the crayon. Do you see? The man has his hand and he is tracing it. When your child is finished, you can help them or they can do it by themselves. It depends on how old they are. When they're finished, it should look something like this. At the bottom, just make a little U, like a U at the bottom. So they should have something like this. Then have them color. They can choose whatever colors they want, but the traditional colors are brown, orange, red, yellow, fall colors. So have your child color their hand, the tracing of their hand, not color their hand like that. They color on the paper. They color the paper, yeah. So they can color like this. Add some color. Then, look, what is it? It's a turkey. So then you add some eyes. Here are the eyes on my turkey, if you can see. You add a gobbler. The gobbler is the red thing. You add a gobbler, a beak, right? The nose, the mouth, the beak. You can add a wing, like right here. And legs. See the turkey's little black legs? You can even add a hat if you want to. It's a turkey! Yay! You can put this on your fridge. You can cut it out with scissors. Whatever you want. It's a fun craft, and your child will likely do this in school at some point if they have not already. All right, that's all I have. I hope you enjoyed learning about Thanksgiving. And if you have any questions about Thanksgiving or the history, the vocabulary, WhatsApp me and I can answer. All right, that's all for today. Our next class is Tuesday, the next Tuesday. Let me check the date. 1 second. Our next class is Tuesday, November 30th. So I will see you then. Thank you. Have a nice holiday weekend. Bye.